the dog owner of the moment, passing it away to the Bulldog. That's Javon Carter. Pinball turnover, and here goes Memphis up and running the other way on the easy lane from Roddy.
What's going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzlies home of Memphis X, and I talk hoops. Well, last night, the Grizzlies had a preseason game, and Steven Adams signed an extension. We're going to talk about it, but first, every hero needs their theme music.
KeyAno.
Grizz gang, go hard. Baddest in the game, we be on one. I talk hoops, so secure. All up on the court, but we gon' score. Memphis bringing heat straight from Tennessee. Demoran's back and let's go.
Well, right now his team is still searching for their first points. Score that the Brewers.
Another one.
Between the Halloween and January, so it's a wide window. And
another one.
Kind of the way this game started was very indicative of camp. Grayson, Bobby.
A little bit of rain.
Another one.
Point shooting was a bonus.
Yeah, it really was. Nice addition, nice signing. You said,
another one.
A nice little run together, 11-2 run. It's nice to see him respond. This is a game of runs.
Another one.
7-point lead for the Bucks. Have not trailed here in the half. And Conchar.
Another one.
In the NBA, the most since the NBA really started keeping track of that 96-97. But again, you said it.
Another one.
You know, from a coach's perspective, and like you're saying, players, a team's perspective, I think it's not.
It's all mathematics.
Now y'all seeing the vision when the Grizzlies let Kyle Anderson go to Minnesota and traded away DeAnthony Melton. And they brought in all these rookies, and they decided to turn over their bench to the younger guys outside of Tyus Jones and Brandon Clark. This first preseason game was a glimpse into the vision of Zach Kleiman and the Grizzlies coaching staff of being able to have more shooting around Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. This was the vision, and this is how it can work. And of course, the main guys weren't here. So when these guys are put in the support role that they were brought in to be, they are going to flourish, making open shots off of the attention that Ja Morant and Desmond Bane get from the defense. These guys are going to be able to knock down open shots and be able to contribute other things for the team. So let's get into this game and the performances of the young guys, which are going to be the focus of this video. Not going to really talk about Brandon Clark and John Conchar because we know what they are. These guys, they both look good physically. They both look healthy. And that's really all that matters with them. They are proven commodities to me. They're going to be what they're going to be, and I don't expect them to evolve into something different. I expect John Conchar to shoot a few more three-pointers this year, and I expect Brandon Clark to be just a little bit more Brandon Clark than he's always been. That's about it. Well, let's concentrate on the young guys. And first and foremost, we're going to start with Zaire Williams. Zaire looked phenomenal. Not only did he look much bigger on the court, taller, longer, a little bit more bouncier, and he seemed to be able to make himself felt on the boards a little bit more in this game. And, that was a big criticism of Zaire last year as far as being a big wing and not being able to rebound as well as possible or as well as you would think for somebody who is 6'9", but now he supposedly has grown to 6'10", and he's putting a little bit more meat on his bones, a little bit muscle on his body. And you can see the difference it makes when he's inside and he's not getting, careened off of everybody's body in the NBA. And this is just year 2. We're just 1 year into, one game into year 2. So if year 2 is anything like year 1 was, the Zaire Williams we see today is not going to hold a candle to the Zaire Williams we see by playoff time this year. So I was very, very impressed with Zaire. His shot looked good. His rebounding looked good. And always his playmaking looks good. Now, since they didn't have Ja Morant and Tyus Jones, you didn't get to see much of his finishing that he displayed last year. But I'm sure that's still there, and I think it's going to be better this year. Secondly, we're going to go with Kennedy Chandler since he started the game. Kennedy Chandler, for a second-round pick, I know the commentator said he got the highest guarantee for an American second-round pick in NBA history, and he's shown that he is most likely worth every penny of it. At just 19 years old, he faced off with probably one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA in Jrue Holiday, and he wasn't overwhelmed. Of course, it was preseason, and Jrue Holiday wasn't going full Jrue Holiday mode, but still, he was able to maneuver, get inside, get in the paint, and his quickness just pops, even amongst real, regular NBA-level talent. His quickness pops. He's able to made a three-pointer, as you saw. He's able to get in the lane, find his teammates, and he's able to get on the ball and make steals. For a small point guard, he is not going to get overwhelmed defensively. Now, he's probably not going to play much this year because, we got Tyus and Ja. But, of course, if one of them, sits out a game or two, I'm pretty sure the coaches will have no issue bringing him up and letting him play. But if you saw, he continued what he was doing in Summer League about being a ball hawk. When players come inside, I really would like to see what his hands look like, what his hand strength is, how big are his hands. I'm going to look that up again. I might put it on the screen here. But how big his hands are, because when players go inside, he strips them while they're trying to go up for shots. Much bigger guys, too. He gets the ball away from them. So he was one of the big catalysts for the game. Now, next, we're going to go to Santi Aldama. Now, this is just a year. Santi Aldama has come a long way in 1 year. Now, I don't know if maybe it's just me, but I can understand player development. And, when the Grizzlies put somebody in their player development, their player development system.
Mix 'em and cook 'em in a pot like gumbo.
Maybe this is the mix, the gumbo mix that we get, as you heard from the great Ice Cube. Maybe this is the mix that we get from the Grizzlies playoff development system. We saw it work with Zaire Williams, and we saw it firsthand because he was in the rotation. And we didn't really get to see it with Santi as much because he was in South Haven most of the season. But we saw glimpses of it in Summer League, and we saw a big part of it in this first preseason game. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to start in power forward while Jaren is out. I don't know how that's going to work, but 13 points. He was pretty decent on the boards, able to block some shots. But the thing about Santi Aldama that I think that's getting missed is he is such a good facilitator. When he has the ball, whether he's posting up, driving, attacking closeout, he is always looking for his teammates. I think his passing is one of his greatest attributes and is one of his most underrated attributes, and one people don't talk about that much. But he is a high-level passer. And I think he has the problem, just like all the other young guys have on this team outside of Roddy. He needs to get stronger still. He still has some body development to do. And as he gets stronger, he's a lot stronger than he was last season, because as you remember last season, it's like, just like with Zaire, when he took a hit, he about died on the hit from another NBA player. Not this season. He's going to still get a little bit mixed. He's going to mix it up a little bit. And I like what I saw from him in that first game. He played with a lot of confidence, and he pushed the ball very fast. And we're talking about a 7-footer. Some of those breaks that he was doing, getting the rebound, pushing the ball up, and with his vision, it's going to play out big time. It's going to pay out big time for the Grizzlies. Next, we're going to go to David Roddy. Now, for me, David Roddy, he was just 5 of 12 from the field, 2 of 4 from three-point line, 6 of 6 from the foul line. But for me, he was one of the most impressive young players that played. It was really the thing that I was looking for with him was his defense. Not only his ability to play on the ball, but his ability to affect, things off the ball. As you saw with that opening clip that I played, he is able to watch. Very smart player, very smart guy, very smart player. And like I said, if you saw my community post about him and Jay Crowder being basically the same size, he could be a quintessential small ball power forward where he can keep up with the smaller guys, but he's so physical that you got to put somebody big on him or he's going to get to the line, as witnessed by his 6-for-6 free throws. Like Cam says, if you don't remember Cam, he said he's a free throw magnet in our group chat. So he is one of those guys that is he is just so unorthodox. Somebody that big, that fast, and he's just athletic enough. I mean, he's not a lesser athlete than Jay Crowder, and he can shoot. If you leave him open, if he gets the shots that Jay Crowder got for Phoenix, he is going to bury them. He is going to be a very good shooter, and he can do a lot of stuff with the ball. If you saw his footwork with the ball, he's able to create. Especially now, you go back to his college tape. Go look at his college tape and watch how he was creating in college. And you will see that once he gets his rhythm down, once he gets it down with the size, the added length in the NBA and the physicality of the NBA and the quickness of the guards and stuff like that, his footwork is going to be tremendous on offense. He is going to be a creator on offense. Next, we're going to move to Vince Williams Jr. He didn't really play that much. He didn't really have a big role. He did hit his 1-3 like everybody else did. He got his 1-3 in, which is good. Everybody except Brandon Clark and Gilliard hit a 3. So that was good. And I don't expect we're going to see much of him. He's on a 2-way. I expect he's going to spend most of the season in South Haven, and the Grizzlies going to evaluate him at the end of the season to see if they want to go forward with him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he spent a second season in South Haven and popped out 2 seasons from now on a full-time contract. Next, we're going to go to Jake LaRavia, the top draft pick for the Grizzlies, who had a very, very slow start. It looked like he was having a hard time, dealing with the speed of the NBA, dealing with the speed of the game. Players were moving a little bit faster than what he was doing. He was making passes, and the openings were closing down much faster than he thought. He was making dribble moves, and the defender was getting there faster than he thought. But in the second half, and more especially the fourth quarter, he got on his stride. He was able to get to the rim a little bit. He hit a 3-pointer, as you saw, and he was able to get to the line and make his free throws. So he was one of the biggest catalysts, him and David Roddy, of the fourth quarter comeback against the Bucks bench. So it looked promising, and we hopefully he can build on that. But like I said, this Grizzlies development system seems to be churning them out and getting these guys accelerated growth, accelerated development. And I don't know, I know some people are just Grizzlies fans. They haven't been a fan of the NBA outside of when the Grizzlies came to Memphis. But if you look around the league, this rapid development among multiple prospects is not normal. It is something like you see the Warriors do it, the Heat do it. These are systems where they have systems and plans in place to get these prospects from point A to point B to point C throughout their career. This is what happens when you bring players into your organization with a plan for their development. This is not just what Chris Wallace used to do. I'm just going to draft the most talented player and we're going to see what sticks and what happens. But these, you can tell the Grizzlies have a plan for these players from the moment they come into the organization. And these players are given a work, just like you remember that big booklet that they had for Jaren Jackson. These guys are given a work plan for their development, and it's not going to be a surprise when they are better at the end of the year than they were at the beginning of the season. Now, last but definitely not least is everybody's favorite, Mr. Kenneth Lofton Jr. Now, there's just no way around it. Everybody is just going to love Kenneth Lofton. I mean, not just him being a very, very good player, not just that, but the fact that he reminds every Grizzlies fan of the first number ever to be hung in the FedEx Forum rafters, 50 for the city, Zach Randolph. He is so reminiscent of Zach Randolph. He is an elite offensive prospect. Now, I'm not saying player, prospect. He can do a lot of stuff on the offensive end. The biggest questions with Kenneth Lofton Jr. is his defense. And if you watch the game closely, there was another little problem there where he separates himself from Zebo, and that's on the glass. And I don't know if that's an athleticism thing or he's just not as long as he needs to be. He just doesn't know how to carve out the space on the inside like Zebo used to do. But if I was him, I would be picking Zach Randolph's brain every chance I get to learn how to hold my ground. Because Zach Randolph wasn't a jumper. He wasn't a leaper, but he did have long arms and he was strong as hell. So he needs to learn that as he's losing this weight, as he's getting in the phenomenal shape that he's in, he needs to learn how to use his slimmer body to keep other bigs off the glass. But the one thing I did like is when he was isolated against Javon Carter, one time on the perimeter, he was able to move his feet, stay in front of Javon Carter, and affect his shot and change the play a little bit. So that was good for him. Now the other guys, the fringe guys that are not going to be on the team after a week or two, I'm not going to talk about them. This was a coming out party for the Grizzlies young guys. And like you guys, when I saw this tweet and all the main guys were out, I was frustrated as hell. That's just how I get. I mean, regarding the Grizzlies, that's just how I get. That's why I stay off Twitter during the game, because I might tweet any damn thing. I keep all my frustrations in the group chat, and I just let it go from there. And then by the time the game's over, my attitude's a lot better, win or lose. And, it can be what it is. But as far as the preseason debut game, everybody should be excited about the young guys. Hopefully Monday we'll get to see Ja and the older crew come in and put these guys in the right spots where they're supposed to be and in their right roles, and we'll see them flourish even more. So people, let me know, what did you think about the young guys' performance in preseason game 1? Who were you more impressed with? Let me know in the comment section, and I will be with you tomorrow with another video. Peace.